Have you ever stopped to think about the shoes on your feet? What if I told you they have a passport? Not one for visiting countries, but one that tells a story. A billion-dollar story. Well, that's what we're doing today. We're going to crack open that passport and trace a product's incredible path, all the way from South Asia to the high-fashion runways of Paris.
Right? That's the whole idea here. Every single thing you own, everything you use, it's got a hidden journey, a passport stamped with ambition, big challenges, and these amazing tales of business and, well, total transformation. And the passport we're stamping open today, it belongs to leather shoes from Bangladesh. Now, this is a story of incredible style and just massive scale. But, it's also got some pretty serious growing pains. So, let's dive in and see exactly how this whole thing plays out.
Okay, first things first. We have to talk about the sheer scale of this billion-dollar walkway. And we're not talking about a couple of local craftspeople here. No way. This is a global economic engine that's gone from just selling raw hides to being featured on high-fashion runways. It's a huge deal.
So, let's just start with the big number. The headline here is just staggering. We're talking over $1 billion every single year in leather footwear exports from Bangladesh. Just take a second to think about what that means. That's millions and millions of pairs of shoes, and every single one of them has its own story, its own journey, walking all across the globe.
And get this. This isn't some industry that's just sitting still. It is absolutely booming. We're seeing a steady growth rate of 15 to 20% year after year. Now, that kind of momentum, that's what makes international buyers sit up and really, really pay attention. So, how did they get to that billion-dollar number? Well, this slide right here shows the secret sauce. It's all about a massive economic leap. See, Bangladesh used to just sell the raw stuff, the leather hides. But now they're exporting the finished, high-value product. The source material had this perfect analogy for it. It's like going from selling a bag of flour to exporting a box of freshly baked croissants. See the difference? You're not just selling the basic ingredient anymore. You're selling the whole delicious, finished experience.
Okay, so where are all these croissants, shoes, actually ending up? Well, it turns out Europe is a huge fan. Germany, Italy, Spain, they're leading the charge. But if you look a little closer, you'll see the US and Japan have kind of become quietly obsessed too. They're just snapping up all these really well-made, affordable styles.
But, these huge billion-dollar numbers, they're not just about giant corporations. Not at all. The real engine behind this whole industry, it's the small and medium-sized businesses, the SMEs. If you really want to understand this boom, you gotta look at how it's built from the ground up. Their hustle, that's the real soul of the story here.
And this quote, it just captures the journey of so many of these businesses perfectly. It's called a Deshi Cinderella moment. Deshi just means local, right? So you have these small, totally overlooked workshops that are suddenly, bam, on the global stage. It's like they're fitting the glass slipper of international trade. It's an amazing transformation.
Let me give you a perfect real-world example of this. There was this small workshop in a place called Narayanganj, and all they did was make simple school shoes for the local market. But then they joined one of these local manufacturing clusters, and they got help meeting all those tricky international standards. And the result? Boom. They landed a deal to supply a major Korean brand. Think about that journey from a small local village to having your products in storefronts in Seoul and Dubai. That's absolutely life-changing.
And there's another really important layer to this whole hustle. Something quiet but incredibly powerful is happening inside these small businesses. A lot of them are being founded and run by women. So you see, this isn't just an economic story. It's a social one too. And that's a huge part of this transformation.
Okay, but this super fast walk to success, it hasn't exactly been painless. Like any long journey, you're going to get a few blisters along the way. And now we have to talk about the really serious challenges, the things that could actually trip up this entire industry. So, is it all just catwalks and customs clearance? The answer is no, not even close. That glossy billion-dollar number can hide a lot of the grit and the grime underneath. The truth is, this industry is wrestling with some major pressures that just can't be ignored.
And these challenges are no joke. Let's break them down. First up, you've got environmental compliance. The EU, which is a huge customer, is demanding that factories meet super strict chemical regulations and prove that their materials are sustainably sourced. If you can't do that, those massive orders could just, poof, disappear. Then there's labor conditions. The whole world is watching, and there's constant pressure to improve how workers are treated. And finally, there's this huge trade advantage they have, a special duty-free status that's about to expire. That could mean new tariffs, new taxes that would completely wipe out the price advantage that made these shoes so popular in the first place. So yeah, these are big deals.
So you hear all that, and you have to wonder, with all these huge hurdles, how does the industry possibly keep moving forward? How do you turn these massive challenges into an opportunity? Well, the answer, the real key here, is to stop just making shoes and start innovating them.
And this is where it gets really exciting, you guys. We are talking about moving way beyond just basic boots and sandals. The future could be in things like eco-leather sneakers or custom orthopedic sandals. Maybe even low-carbon loafers designed specifically to meet those tough EU standards. And my personal favorite idea from the source material, high tops that use local heritage designs, like the incredible Nakshi Kantha stitching. How cool would that be?
I mean, how great is that name? Deshi Dunks. It's super catchy, right? But it's more than just a name. It represents this really powerful idea, creating a totally unique brand identity for Bangladeshi footwear, something that's cool, that's culturally rich, and that people all over the world actually want. It's about finally owning the story, not just being the factory that makes the product.
So, there you have it. That's the passport we've decoded today. It's an incredible journey, right? From rows of rawhide to a billion-dollar global industry. Bangladesh has absolutely proven it can walk the walk. But as we've seen, the final question is a really big one. Can it clean up its act enough to truly step into the future? I mean, the next stamp in this passport really depends on that answer. And that right there is the real billion-dollar question.